Moving the swap files to a dedicated partition in Snow Leopard. I have been able to move Apple's virtual memory swap files to a dedicated partition on my hard drive up until now. The technique I've been using is described in a thread on forums.macos.com. However, with a developer preview of Snow Leopard, this method no longer works. Does anyone know how it could be done with the new OS? Update: I have marked Blue's answer as accepted even though it didn't quite work because he gave excellent, detailed instructions and because his suggestion to use Blue ultimately pointed me in the right direction. The complete, working solution is posted here in the question because I don't have enough reputation to edit the accepted answer. Update number 2, change the procedure to illustrate equals technique, which greatly simplifies the whole thing by eliminating the need for an intermediate shell script. Complete solution. 1. Open terminal and make a backup copy of Apple's default dynamic_pager.plist. 2. Convert the plist from binary to plain XML. 3. Open the converted plist with your text editor of choice. I use Pico. See Blue's answer for an example using Vim. It should look as follows. Modify the program arguments array, lines 13 through 18, to use the wait_for_path shell command, as suggested by Zillier, prior to launching dynamic_pager. See note number 1 for details on why this is necessary. In the following example, my partition is called swap, and I chose to put the swap files in a hidden directory on that partition, called .vm. Be sure that the directory you specify actually exists. The XML should look as follows. 5. Save the plist, and return to the terminal prompt. Using Pico, the commands would be 6. Convert the modified plist back to binary. 7. Restart your Mac. If you run into trouble, switch to verbose startup mode by holding down Command V immediately after the startup chime. This will let you see all of the startup messages that appear during startup. If you run into even worse trouble, i.e. you never see the login screen, hold down Command S instead. This will boot the computer in single user mode, no graphical UI, just a command prompt, and allow you to restore the backup copy of com.apple.dynamic_pager.plist that you made in step 1. 8. Once the computer boots, fire up terminal and verify that the swap files have actually been moved. You should see something like this. 9. Delete the old swap files. 10. Profit. Note 1. Modifying the arguments to dynamic_pager in the plist without using wait_for_path does not always work, and when it fails, it does so in a spectacularly silent way. The problem stems from the fact that dynamic_pager is launched very early in the startup process. If your swap partition has not yet been mounted when dynamic_pager is first loaded, in my experience, this happens 99% of the time, then the system will fake its way through. It will create a symbolic link in your /volumes directory which has the same name as your swap partition, but points back to the default swap file location, /private/var/vm. Then, when your actual swap partition mounts, it will be given the name swap1, or your drive name 1. You can see the problem by opening up terminal and listing the contents of your /volumes directory. You will see something like this. Note that this failure can be very hard to spot. If you were to check for the swap files as I show in step 12, you would still see them. The symbolic link would make it seem as though your swap files had been moved, even though they were actually being stored in the default location. Note 2. I was originally unable to get this to work in Snow Leopard because com.apple.dynamic_pager.list was stored in binary format. I made a copy of the original file and opened it with Apple's property list editor, available with Xcode, in order to make changes, but this process added some extended attributes to the plist file which caused the system to ignore it and just use the defaults. As Blue pointed out, using Plu to convert the file to plain XML works like a charm. Note 3. You can check the console application to see any messages that dynamic_pager_init echoes to the screen. If you see the following lines repeated over and over again, there is a problem with the setup. I ran into these messages because I forgot to create the .vm directory that I specified in dynamic_pager_init. When everything is working properly, you may see the above message a couple of times only, and then no more of the throttling respawn messages. This means that the system did have to wait for the partition to load, but in the end it was successful.
Note: see, also, a corrected/improved answer in the question itself. Following solution worked for me. Open a terminal and backup com.apple.dynamic_pager.list, which you're going to change in a second. Convert binary plist to XML. And open it with your favorite text editor. It'll look something like this. In line 17 modify. For example /volume/partition2/swapfile, save and close your editor, X will do both in Vim. Convert the plist file back to binary. After rebooting your Mac you should find the swap files in the directory you specified. If you run into any problems you can restore the backup you created in the first step with.
Just a question, why not just editing the plist file adding wait for path, instead of using the intermediate dynamic_pager_init? Something like this. Edit, as explained in the comment by E.James and my following comment, the immediately following XML block is not good, both because there's an error, missing and because only the first argument of the array program arguments it's parsed as the program to run. But, scroll down. End of the wrong XML block. This XML block should work instead. Please keep in mind that I still had not enough time to safely try this setting, but I tried to run various other shell commands launched in the same way, and everything should work as expected. How it works. Base, Executing wait for path/path and command means that command is run only if wait for path ends and exits without errors, and this happens only when /path is an available path, so we can safely tell dynamic_pager to use that volume for swap files. 1. As written in launch.plistmanpage, the keys program and program arguments are mapped to an execute call. That means that everything but the first string in the array is treated as an argument for the first string in the array, the program to run. 2. As written in bash manpage, there is a bash c string option to run the string passed as commands. 1 plus 2 equals 3. What happens using this command line in a launched plist? /bin/bash c wait for path /volumes /swap /and /bin /dynamic_pager f/volumes /swap /.vm /swapfile. /bin/bash is the program to run, c is the first argument and the double quoted string is the second argument. I guess it should work exactly as your solution. Without the intermediate script, launched will start the service, that will wait for the given path and then launch dynamic_pager. Please note that the string that you want to execute should be double quoted if you run bash c in terminal, but it's not double quoted in the plist file. I guess because it's already declared as a string with a proper tag. The to and in the string must be changed to and amp in the plist file. P.S. As always, proceed at your own risk. I take no responsibility for problems you may have using this setting. Thanks for sharing your work with us.
I've adopted this idea and taken it a bit further by addressing the growth and reclamation strategies. Details at this URL. I would post a link to the Dynamic Pager app at Google Code project page, but the blog tells me that I don't have enough reputation points.
I know it has been a while since this article was written, but I thought I would add my own little item down here for those who want to do this as well. I have used the above trick to move my swap files off to another internal drive. My boot drive is SSD with MLC chips, so moving VM off can save the life expectancy. Anyway, after creating the new volume I had a swap volume in Finder that I am never going to use in Finder itself, so I decided to make the volume invisible to Finder. You need Apple's Developer Toolkit installed. Then type and replace /volumes/swap with whatever you named your volume. Restart Finder and presto, no more swap volume in Finder.
If you want to support the channel, please consider subscribing.